So, I didn't expect this specific video to get super popular considering the fact it's just another regular video. But you know the algorithm. You mention anything that people like and they go crazy over it. So in this case, the battle bricks! Fighting! Blocktails! Forsaken! Enjoy the video. This game is a single-player boss wave where you pick a character in this somewhat confusing UI and go off to fight enemies. Now the game is pretty short. It can be completed in under 30 minutes, and the mechanics are nice. The only complaint I have is that your character stays completely still when using the M1, which for me gets a bit annoying since the bosses constantly move. The enemies in the game can have multiple weapons, ranging from a katana to, you guessed it, the SFOTH swords, with one enemy called Equinox who wields both the Dark Heart and the Illumina, though there's nothing besides that. I would say it's pretty nice to check out if you really like it, and I'm pretty sure after you beat it with all of the other characters, there's nothing much else to do. Brawl R is an amazing game inspired by Super Smash Bros. With multiple characters to play as and multiple maps to choose, some which include hazards. It is a really good game that I highly recommend you check out. But the main thing we are here for is Telmon and sword fights on the Heights map. Telmon has his own moveset where he specializes using the SFOTH swords, being able to switch to any of them at any time. And of course, there's also the SFOTH map. More specifically, the bridge part of the SFOTH map, which I think is the best spot they could have chosen for this type of game. Telmon also has a couple of skins in this game, which is always nice, but I personally don't use any of them since I like Telmon's original look. This game is really fun, and I highly recommend you check it out. Oh, and unlike the first part of the video, I'll actually link down every single game I've mentioned in the description. If you're interested, of course. Project Remakes is a gun game. But even though it says that in the title, you actually have more than just guns to kill people with. One of those being the Link sword. Wait! I thought you wouldn't mention games who just use the Link sword as its basic sword. Correct, but this game also has the heights. Or at least, the sunken heights. Truly fell out of grace. The map is a very unique take on the heights because unlike all of the other maps who just redo the original and call it a day, and some don't even remake it, this game actually does a unique spin. I think the sunken part of the heights might have been inspired by the Percy Jackson event in Sword Fights on the Heights 4, since it is the only event that was officially hosted by Shedletsky, which had new gears to use, so props to the devs for hiding a sneaky little reference in a reference. Classic Arena is a battlegrounds game where you choose different characters and fight other people. Some of those characters include Helperbot, Elliot, Murderer, and Shedletsky. Now Shedletsky's kit include the Link sword as its base damage and 4 moves that you use. The first one uses the Ice Dagger that freezes your opponent for a few seconds. Next one is the Venom Shank that deals a tick of poison damage a few seconds after hit, stopping the opponent and letting you continue attacking them. The The third one utilizes the wind force and is my most favorite move since it's easy to hit and doesn't need you to be super close to the opponent. The last one uses the firebrand, and you can use it on the ground, which deals a lot of damage but is hard to hit, or you can use it while in midair to dive down onto your opponent. But it can also be used for other purposes like fleeing from somebody if you're in the HQ headquarters map. Pretty sure it's unintentional, but use it to your heart's content. This game also has the sword fights on the heights map, but it is private server exclusive, and it's very obviously just taken from the game and put in there since there's no add-ons and the lava spinners fall off. And most likely, it won't be added to public servers, which honestly is a shame. It would have been nice to see a sword fights on the heights map in this game, but oh well. It is personally my favorite game out of the bunch, and is really the only one that I would play occasionally. The only downside for this is the fact that it's a battlegrounds game, so expect teamers, toxic people, and all the other fun stuff. But also this game barely has any moderation. What I mean by that is that they don't have any game moderators, so tickets to exploiters can take an entire day to process since the developer is the only person who can ban these people. And it seems like they're not interested in hiring new moderators, which is strange since there are 600 CCU every day and not having any mods is a recipe for disaster. So, yeah, get some game moderators please. Special inclusion of Nightwork Massacre. What the fuck is that game? I've never heard of it. Shush! I'll explain. It is an ASIM game with different characters to play as, and it is pretty underrated. And I would say that if you have the spare time and see a couple of people playing it, then you should totally check the game out. The game doesn't have the SFOTH map unfortunately, but it has Shedletsky as a skin for one of his characters, called Tin Pod, and also multiple characters who wield one of the SFOTH swords. One of those characters is called the Challenger, who wields the firebrand, and alongside it is a skin Eldernet that has the Illumina. Also Fire, if you're watching this, please add sword fights on the heights map. Thank you! Break In and Steal Things is another ASIM game that has a lot of spins added to it, to the point it stands out from the regular ASIM genre, where instead of just having to survive, you have to steal artifacts for a company that you work for. The gameplay is very interesting, and while sure there are some skins like Eldernet that have the Illumina, the main guy here is Cubed Hexa 22. I'm not 100% informed on the lore of Break In and Steal Things, so correct me if I'm wrong, but basically, he beat Telmon a bunch of times and now is trying to take over Roblox with the SFOTH swords. And he has the SFOTH map in his render. There's also a sword fights on the heist map, which is really cool, but it took me 2 hours of playing the game just to get the map once. And do you want to guess why? Because the developers just love putting f***ing teapots map. Teapot this, teapot that, I'm tired of teapots! Anyway, the game's pretty cool and you should check it out. This game is a bullet hell, which honestly isn't my cup of tea, but I tried it out anyways. Its main focus is on the SFOTH swords and how Telmon abandoned the heights. Sounds familiar. Either way, the SFOTH swords in here are personified into characters similar to fighting, though I cannot really rate their fits since the game is in bird's eye view and no wiki has clear pictures on how the characters look. But I will say this. I like the dialogues that they wrote for the characters with their fancy way of talking, though the game's difficulty is quite high. I tried it out once on normal difficulty and lost on the 4th stage, so I had to go back and replay it on easy mode just to get to the end, and I barely did so. Like, come on, look at this and tell me this is normal. And there are 5 other difficulties higher than this. How the f are you supposed to beat any of them? I guess the soundtrack is pretty nice too, so if you're interested in bullet hell games, then you could check the game out. Outlaws of Robloxia is a boss fight game similar to epic boss fights, with it also having the 7 SFOTH swords, and just like epic boss fights, I have the same complaints. The bosses take forever to beat, and getting any of the swords is too grindy for a boss fight that can take up 15 minutes. The UI is super neat though, and I love the art style here. It's just that the gameplay sucks, and it's really unfortunate. You can also tell the development team just left the project behind, with their last update being a year ago. Wait a fucking minute, was this made by Saucify? The Battle Bricks is a single-player tower defense style game where you send units to fight against enemies who are able to fight back. Yes, I just read that from the description, bite me. Now this game is by far the most requested one from you guys, and the game itself does feature the SFOTH map, but it is in the second chapter and is on the last boss fight. Every single other boss fight in chapter 2 just being a reference to another old Roblox thing. So the heist is mentioned right in the middle of the game. I tried to play it once or twice, but in my opinion, it was so tedious and the gameplay loop is just not my cup of tea. So, sorry Battle Bricks fans, but I don't think I'll ever complete the game, and I don't think I'll ever do a deep dive on the game just because I'm not interested. But they do have Shedletsky though, with his chicken. So, that's all I got for now. I hope you liked this video of mine, and I think I'll get more experimental with my videos later on. And with that, I'll see you next Saturday. Bye bye.